Andrew Tate, a former professional kickboxer, now internet personality, expressed that he does not believe in depression and that depression is not real. In this video, we will be challenging his theory to see if it is valid or invalid by looking at 6 of the major points he outlined in his commentary. Before we go into his points, depression is a common medical illness that negatively affects how you feel, the way you think, and how you act. It is considered very serious and it is considered as a disease by many professionals. However, it is treatable. Andrew Tate does not believe in this and thinks depression is overly promoted. So let's take a look at this first point.
Depression is nothing but extreme selfishness. That's what I'm going to call it.
In this point, he went ahead to talk about persons who commit suicide. I do believe suicide is extremely selfish, probably the ultimate form of selfishness, where you just stop thinking about everyone else. However, depression itself is not selfish, but some of the symptoms can result in selfishness. A lot of depressed people still find time to care about others, so I definitely wouldn't classify depression as extreme selfishness, but suicide could be.
Let me tell you something. Depression is not real. Feeling depressed is real. So you can feel depressed, but you feel depressed, and that is a natural biological evolutionary trigger for you to change something in your life.
The first thing I want to know here is, how do you differentiate depression from being depressed? Isn't depression the state of being depressed? I would love some clarification here. If you can just leave it down in the comment section, I would appreciate that, because I see them as the same thing. How do you separate the two? While sadness can be differentiated, depression or being depressed can't. Being sad is an emotion. Depression isn't.
You know what could solve depression for most poor people? $1 million in the bank.
Yeah.
Boom. So how is it a disease?
So, first of all, not all poor people are depressed. Secondly, if a lack of money is a cause of their depression, then definitely $1 million would cure their depression. The next thing is, a disease is a disorder of structure or function in a human, animal, or plant, especially one that has a known cause and a distinctive group of symptoms or signs. Based on this definition of disease, I guess you may consider depression to be a disease because it does affect how you function, it has a known cause, and it does produce signs and symptoms.
I cannot become depressed.
Bam.
No matter what the worst thing that could possibly happen to me on earth, I will feel sad, but I will recover and I will not become depressed because I don't believe in depression.
So this is the tricky thing about this point. Someone who doesn't believe in depression will never tell themselves they are experiencing depression because they would try to call it something else. A person who is mentally ill but doesn't believe they are mentally ill will never accept being mentally ill. Also, saying that you're not depressed won't make you any less depressed. What will make you less depressed is if you start to tell yourself that you're strong and that you will get past it. Without a doubt, one of the best ways to get past any challenge is to first identify your current situation, then you put goals in place and make steps to get through that challenge.
If you're in an old haunted house, right? You have two people in two haunted houses. One believes in ghosts and one doesn't. You hear some noise in the night. The wind blows, right? The man who believes in ghosts is like, oh no, a ghost. Now he's scared, right? He wants an exorcist. He can't sleep. He's scared about ghosts. He's paranoid. The guy who doesn't believe in ghosts goes, wind, whatever, and goes back to sleep. Do you understand that it's the belief that gives it power?
Right.
If you don't believe in ghosts, the ghost can't hurt you.
This point only makes sense under the assumption that ghosts aren't real. So therefore, it is a belief in ghosts in this case that hurts you. But, and this is a big but, if we are to assume that ghosts are actually real, this is now a completely different story. And the truth is, there is no one that has really been able to prove that ghosts aren't real. So we end up with two people in this world, those who believe in ghosts and those who don't. But the reality is, people who don't believe in ghosts never will until they experience one for themselves. And the same can be said for depression. Someone who doesn't believe in depression won't believe in depression until they experience it for themselves. So I think what Tate's theory might end up doing is creating that similar divide where you have people who believe in depression and those people who don't.
The last thing you should ever do is adopt the thinking of someone who is sad.
This point I think is a really good point, especially for persons looking to develop themselves and to better themselves. In life, you want to accept the mindset of the people you want to be like. If you want to be successful, you adopt the mindset of a successful person. If you want to be rich, you adopt the mindset of a rich person. Adopting the mindset of a sad person is really the last thing you want to do.
Depression.
Damn.
It ain't real. There, I'm just blowing out the water. It's not real. You can come at me and say whatever you want. It's not real.
So there you have it. I wouldn't say depression is not real based on the things he pointed out, but I would still say it is a really good theory. And a lot of person might just come out of depression by listening to him speak. If you want to listen to the commentary, the link is in the description. But I also want to say this theory also has the potential of sending a lot of persons deeper into depression. I think the important thing is for you to decide for yourself if depression is real or if it is not. Then you take it from there. Thanks for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. For more videos geared towards your growth and development, be sure to subscribe and remember to like and share.